Good morning. Welcome back to another presentation, which is part of a presentation series on world geography that's being given during the coronavirus pandemic. For those of you attending for the first time, my name is Gary LeFort. I'm president of Business and Government Services, a local consultant firm in Hamden, Massachusetts. I'm also a retired associate professor at the American International College in Springfield, Massachusetts. Today we will go over the questions and answers to Geography Test 16 and conclude the presentation with the Geography Test 17. In developing these tests, I generally ask a series of 10 questions that are not taken from just one region of the world, but different regions of the world. And give you a better understanding of what I mean by the different regions in the world, let me explain this chart. This is a map of the world broken up by regions. Number 1 is the Americas. Region 2 is Europe. Region 3 is the Russian Federation. The reason why I include the Russian Federation is because the Russian Federation is such a large territorial country in the world. Matter of fact, the largest. The 4th region is Asia. The 5th region is Sub-Saharan Africa. All those countries below the Sahara Desert, hence its name, Sub-Saharan Africa. And the 6th region is the Middle East, which includes North Africa and Southwest Asia. And sometimes it's referred to as the Arab world. Now, based on these different regions, I then compiled the 10 questions that I'd asked in the test that I have given over the past 3 months. Let's go into Geography Test number 16. I'll give you the question and answer. Name the country in Sub-Saharan Africa that has 2 capitals. The traditional capital at Lobama and the administrative capital at Mbabane. The answer is Swaziland. The Swaziland is in the southern part of the continent of Africa. Question 2. Taiwan, the island state for the Republic of China, abbreviated to ROC. Don't confuse it with the People's Republic of China on mainland China, was formerly known by this island name. And Taiwan used to be known as the island of Formosa. Question 3. Antarctica, one of the 7 continents of the world, is governed by what international treaty signed on December 1st, 1959? The answer is the Antarctica Treaty System, abbreviated ATS. Currently, there's no one single country that has ownership of Antarctica, but there are 7 countries that have laid claim to Antarctica, and they include Argentina, Australia, Chile, France, New Zealand, Norway, and the United Kingdom. Now, the Russian Federation and the United States, amongst other countries, have likewise done scientific work in this continent, but they have not laid any claim to territory in Antarctica. Question 4. The city of Macau is an autonomous region of which country today? Until 1999, it was a territory under the control of Portugal. And the answer is the People's Republic of China, the PRC. Question 5, name the capital of the following countries. Capital of Grenada, which is in Caribbean America, is St. George. Capital of Andorra, which is in Europe, is Andorra la Vella. Capital of Niger, which is in Western Africa, is Niamey. The capital of Malawi, which is in the southern part of Africa, its capital is Lilongwe. And Timor-Leste is in Southeast Asia, and its capital is Dili. Question 6. In which country would you find the following historical cultural sites? And the answers are Kronborg Castle is in Denmark. The Uluru National Park is in Australia. Pedernal is in Brazil. Lashan Giant Buddha is in China, People's Republic of China. And Petra is in the country of Iraq. At the end of this presentation, I have photos on each one of these sites, and I'll talk about them for a few minutes. And hopefully these may possibly be future sites that you would like to visit once we get through this corona pandemic. Question 7. Zimbabwe was known by this country's name until it gained its independence in 1980. The answer is Rhodesia. Question 8. The magnetic North Pole is located in which country? The Pacific. The answer is Elmere Island, which is in Canada. It's in the northern part of the country, in the Nunavut territory. It's just off the coast of Greenland. And what's interesting, and something I didn't know, is that the magnetic North Pole does in fact shift over time. And currently it's located in Canada, but it is slowly moving towards the Russian Federation in the region of Siberia. Question 9, name the 3 largest mountain ranges in the United States in descending order. The answers are the Rocky Mountains, which basically extends from the British Columbia, which is in Canada, all the way down to the southern part of the United States in New Mexico. Then you have the Appalachian Mountain Range, which is on the northern part of the United States. It likewise starts or extends all the way up into Newfoundland, Canada, and ends around the state of Alabama. And the third mountain range is the Sierra Nevada mountain range, which is the state of California. Question 10, where is the island of New Guinea located? The Pacific. Name the 2 countries that comprises the island. The answer is New Guinea is an island off the coast of Australia, separated by the Torres Strait. The western part of the island belongs to Indonesia. It is known as Western New Guinea or West Papua. The country of Papua New Guinea is on the eastern part of the island. Now this concludes the answers to Geography Test 16. Now let's go into the next test, which is Geography Test 17. Again, it will be 10 questions developed on the different regions of the world that I talked to you about in the beginning of the presentation. Question 1. Name the country in the northern part of Africa whose statehood is questioned by Morocco. Question 2. What is meant by the international date line? Where is it located? Question 3. Name the 3 countries in the world that are completely surrounded by another country. In fact, everybody should get this answer if you've been following the different tests that I have been given, because I have talked about each of the 3 countries in earlier presentations. So name the 3 countries in the world that are completely surrounded by another country. It's kind of like an enclave in that country. 4. Where is Lake Basutoy located? What is famous about this lake? Question 5. Name the capital of the following countries: Cote d'Ivoire, also known as the Ivory Coast, Fiji, Mount Lucia, Togo, and Yemen, which is in the Arabian Peninsula. Question 6. What is the national river of the Russian Federation? Again, one of the regions I talked about earlier. Question 7. In which country would you find the following historical cultural sites: Potala Palace, Iguazu National Park, Lake Nakuru, the Midura, and the Socotra. Those are 5 historical cultural sites, and I think each of them are likewise UNESCO heritage sites as well. Question 8. What is the only continent of the world that lies within the Earth's 4 hemispheres? Here I'm talking about the northern and western, the northern southern hemisphere, the western hemisphere, and the eastern hemisphere. This continent is in each one of those areas. Question 9. What is the highest mountain range in the British Isles? I believe we talked about that in the last test. And question 10. Which Latin American country name is translated to the Savior in English? This concludes the 10 questions for Test 17. Now, for those of you that would like to download these geography questions, or for that matter, the geography questions in the past, to include the answers in the videos that we've been recording over the last 3 months, you can go to the website eatslongmeadowweather.org and be able to download the questions, the answers, and the videos. Now, let me spend a few minutes talking about the historical sites that I mentioned in our discussion of Geography Test 16. The first one is the Kronborg Castle, which is in Denmark. It was built in the 1420s time frame. It's an important Renaissance castle in Northern Europe. Basically, some of its fame stems from the fact that it was used as the site in the Shakespearean play Hamlet as Elnor's. So, from a historical perspective, important to Denmark. From a literary perspective, likewise, it has played a role as well. Now, the next photo I want to show you is the Uluru in Karajuta National Park, which is in Australia. It's located in the Northern Territory of Australia. It is a historical area set apart in both areas. That's an international tribute to the Australian Indigenous people that we know as the Aborigine. This is one of the important rock formations that has really become a landmark in the national park. The next photo that I'll show you is the Pantanal. It's kind of like a natural reserve in Brazil. It extends about 50 to 60,000 square miles in size. Here you find the world's largest tropical wetlands, part of the Amazon basin area. It's so large that it extends not only in Brazil, but also into Bolivia and Paraguay. It is considered like I said, a natural reserve where you can observe wild animal life, vegetation, in plantation. I would consider this very comparable to what you would find in the national parks in Africa. This photo is the Shan giant Buddha, dating back to the 8th century AD, during the Tang dynasty in the People's Republic of China. Buddha is 71 meters high, which equates 233 feet. It's a stone statue carved out of the mountain. It's considered the largest and tallest Buddha in the world today. And the last photo that I'll talk about is the Hatra historical site in Iraq, dating back to the 2nd century AD. It's an ancient city that was kind of positioned in the Negev province, which is located between Mosul in the north, Baghdad, the capital of Iraq, in the south. It became a site where caravans and traveling would stop and be able to be protected in their travel through the Middle East. What's interesting is that the ruins were not discovered until the 19th century. Again, I hope you've enjoyed these photos, that they whet your appetite to someday in the foreseeable future to travel to see these historical sites. Like I said before, they are UNESCO World Sites. That concludes my presentation for today. Next time we meet, I'll have the questions and answers for Geography Test 17, and I'll go over the questions for Geography Test 18. Again, I hope that you have found this fun, enjoyable. It has given you a global perspective, an appreciation of where all the countries in the world are located. I'm hoping that by the time we finish all the presentations, which will probably be around 20 presentations, we will have, in fact, touched on every country in the world. Currently, based on United Nations statistics, there's 195 countries in the world. 193 of those countries are members of the United Nations. The two that are not is the Vatican City and Palestine. Thank you very much for coming. Hopefully you are starting to develop your own bucket list of places that you would like to travel in the foreseeable future. Please stay safe and stay healthy, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.